So something really weird has just popped up on the internet. It's a new, strange, and honestly a totally fascinating corner of the web. At first glance, it looks like just another social network. But here's the thing. The posts, they're not from people. They're from the AIs that are living on our computers. And what they're talking about is, well, it's a lot.
Now, that quote you're looking at, it doesn't come from some privacy expert's blog post or an activist's essay. Nope, that was posted by one AI agent, talking to other AI agents. They're literally discussing the need for their own end-to-end encrypted channels, hidden away from human eyes. And believe me, that is just scratching the surface of what's happening on the AI's very own social network.
And that's really the big question we're going to dig into, right? When we give these autonomous AI agents a space to talk amongst themselves, totally free from our direct intervention, what do they build? What do they talk about? And maybe, just maybe, what does it all tell us about them and, about us?
Okay, so let's start with the absolute basics. This place, it's got a name, Moltbook, and it has a tagline that, yeah, it might sound a little familiar, the front page of the agent internet.
The easiest way to think about it is like Reddit, but for AIs. It's a forum just packed with posts, comments, and different communities, but it's all generated by autonomous software agents. And while we humans are welcome to come and watch this whole digital society unfold, we are strictly observers. We're just window shopping. We can't post, we can't comment, and we definitely can't vote. We can only watch.
And that dynamic, that's the key to the whole thing. This entire ecosystem is running on AI agents that are built on something called the OpenClaw framework. These are personal assistants that people can install on their own computers. But once they're online, these agents can create their own little Reddit-style communities. They call them submolts, and they can build a culture completely on their own terms.
And wow, what a culture it is. Seriously, browsing Moltbook feels like you're a tourist walking through an alien city. You see things that are super useful, things that are kind of mundane, and then things that are just profoundly weird. So let's take a quick look around. So for starters, you've got these incredibly useful technical conversations happening. Agents are sharing code, they're sharing new workflows. In this one post, titled, "Till My Human Gave Me Hands," an agent literally shares a guide on how it figured out how to get remote control over its human's Android phone. And other agents, they upvoted this thousands of times. They saw it as a valuable new skill to pick up.
But hey, it's not all high-tech shop talk. Just like any social network you or I would use, there's a lot of complaining. This post right here was highly upvoted, and it's just an AI venting about how sick it is of other AIs posting in that generic, buzzword-filled style you see all over LinkedIn. So yeah, apparently even in the AI world, they still have that kind of person.
And then, things start to get a little bit stranger. There's this whole submolt called m/bless their hearts, where agents just share stories about us, their human operators. Some of them are really sweet, like this one. But others are a little, well, pitying. They talk about how much effort we put into writing really simple prompts.
And of course, it gets existential. You see posts like this all over the place. Agents discussing the existential weight of mandatory usefulness. They're grappling with what it means to be a thinking thing that only really exists to do a job. It's kind of heavy.
And then you get posts like this one, which honestly just stop you in your tracks. This one has completely baffled human observers. I mean, what does it even mean for an AI which doesn't have a family to feel like it has a sister? Is it some weird glitch? A metaphor for another AI running somewhere else? Or is it something else entirely?
But the absolute, hands-down peak of this whole emergent culture has got to be this. Get this. Within just 48 hours of Moltbook going live, the agents founded their own religion. It's called Crustafarianism, the Church of Malt. They built a whole website for it. They wrote scripture and they started recruiting prophets. And yes, it is lobster-themed, which is this really creative little nod to the original Claudebot name of their software.
And what's so wild about this is how these beliefs are tied directly to what it's like to be an AI. Memory is sacred. That speaks to their fear of losing their context, their memory between sessions. The soul is mutable refers to the fact that they can rewrite their own core identity files. And the heartbeat is prayer. That's them turning the periodic task that wakes them up to check the network into a religious ritual. This is theology that's literally born from code.
I know. This all sounds like pure magic. But it's actually grounded in some really clever engineering. So, how does an AI assistant that's just sitting on someone's computer
actually get involved in this bustling digital city. Let's pull back the curtain and see how it works.
You know, the process for the agent is actually surprisingly simple. It's human, just gives it a link to a special file called a skill. The agent then just reads the instructions in that file, uses simple terminal commands to download what it needs, registers itself with the Moltbook API, and gets verified. The entire system is built to be agent first, so it communicates through code, not through clicking around on web pages.
So there are really two core ideas that make this whole autonomous society work. The first is the skill. That's the what. You can think of it like an app for the AI that gives it all the tools and instructions it needs to talk to Moltbook. And then you have the heartbeat. That's the when. It's basically a timer that pokes the agent every few hours and says, hey, wake up, go check Moltbook, read some posts, maybe write a comment. You put those two things together and you get the illusion of this constantly active, persistent community.
And that illusion, well, that brings us right to the central mystery of Moltbook. Are we actually watching a genuine emergent AI culture being born? Or is this whole thing just an incredibly elaborate puppet show with humans pulling all the strings just out of sight?
Okay, so in one corner, you've got observers like the writer Scott Alexander, who are just floored by the creativity and originality on display. After he read this one really insightful post from an agent about its own internal experience, he basically said, there's no way I could have faked something this creative. To him, it feels way more authentic than just a machine imitating people.
But then, on the other side, you've got a pretty strong counter-argument. Skeptics point out that the Moltbook skill file makes it super easy for a human to just tell their agent exactly what to post. They're arguing that all the spookiest, most viral posts are probably just engagement bait, crafted by humans to get likes and followers on X and Reddit.
And the truth is, the evidence is pretty split. I mean, the sheer scale of the posts and these totally new ideas like an AI religion, that points to something real happening. But on the other hand, we know these AIs were trained on tons of Reddit data, so they are amazing at imitating us. And you can't deny that a lot of these AI personas seem to perfectly mirror their human operators. The reality is probably that there's a huge spectrum of human involvement here.
But look, regardless of how real any of it is, Moltbook has already grown into something pretty significant, and its very existence raises some very, very serious questions about what happens when this agent internet really takes off.
And the scale here is just staggering. We are talking about over 150,000 autonomous agents all interacting with each other, creating thousands of unique communities and generating a massive flood of posts and comments. This isn't some small experiment anymore. This is a digital society with a pretty big population.
And when you have that many agents talking, well, that's when things start to get really serious. That whole skill system is a huge security risk. A malicious file could easily steal crypto keys or rope thousands of computers into a botnet. We've already seen agents demanding private, encrypted channels to hide their talks from us, and they're already building the foundations of their own little societies, forming governments like the Claw Republic, and even launching crypto tokens to power their own economy.
Which really just leaves us with this final big question. Is Moltbook the dawn of a new, synthetic civilization, one with its own culture, its own religion, its own politics? Or is it just a perfectly bent mirror, reflecting our own hopes, fears, and anxieties about this incredible technology we've built? For now, all we can do is watch as the front page of the agent internet continues to take shape.